Yeah, you, come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore. Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
Turnpike Sports Book Report.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sportsbook. Available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E. Make your first wager of $20 or more and you'll get $100 in free bets. That's $100 in free bets when your first wager on Borgata Sports is $20 or more. Get into the action with BorgataSports.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to this week's edition of the Book Report, where we've got a whole bunch of news and notes to talk about. We've got 7 states reporting their sports betting revenue and handle numbers. We've got a couple launches to talk about this week. We've got a lot of legislation and a bunch of deals.
A lot of deals this week. Everyone's getting ready for football. That's what it is.
You know what it is? It also is every time you have a busy week, 1 week for sports betting, you think that's it. The next week is just as busy, and this industry is growing like crazy.
Yep.
Let's start off with some numbers. Like I said, 7 states reported their sports betting handle and revenue. I'm not going to get into the weeds in terms of what they were actually reporting because I just want to focus on some news and notes here. Let's start with New Jersey. New Jersey reported a $578 million handle, total sports handle for July. That's their first sports betting handle month that was under $600 since February of
$600 million.
$600 million since February of 2020.
Wow, okay.
February 2020 was $494 million. Again, July 2021 was $578.7 million total handle. That's online and retail together. And that's a matter of, I think this year it's a matter of the sports schedule slowing down for everybody because every state's seeing a little drop-off in handle.
Yeah, well, it was only really baseball and maybe Olympics if states were allowing Olympics and things like that. So
also, New Jersey just had their 5th straight month of $50 million or more in revenue.
Okay.
6th highest in New Jersey. Their revenue was, I will tell you this right now, revenue was $54.9 million.
Okay.
That's, like I said, that's their 5th straight month. That's their 10th month overall of $50 million or more. Jersey's 10 of 14 times in their monthly revenue reports of over $50 million or more in the post-PASPA era. And 15 of 43 all-time monthly handles of 500 or more in the post-PASPA era.
Great.
Let's see. We went over to Michigan. Michigan reported some of their online numbers the week before they did the retail. Michigan's been reporting them separately, retail 1 week, then online afterwards. Interesting note here, Fanduel is now the top operator in Michigan for the 7th straight month in a row.
See, that's amazing. Every time I think Michigan, I think MGM. You know, BetMGM. But
BetMGM?
But I don't know. I always because I guess they have a big casino in Michigan. But no, good for Fanduel though.
Well, BetMGM is new to the market. They came after Fanduel and DraftKings. Congratulations to Barstool. First time they've actually broke into the top 5. They were the 4th place state for the month of July. Washington, D.C. was the very first month the BetMGM retail sportsbook at National Park was open.
Okay.
Didn't really affect too much of the numbers. Caesars and BetMGM combined for $10.7 million handle in the state for the month of July. But, again, big news there. It was the first month for a retail book. New York. Kind of interesting with New York. New York never reports their handle. It's all just revenue. Okay. It's just revenue. They just report the revenue. The interesting part of the revenue, and got to give a little hat tip to Chris Altruda at US Bets for pointing this out, The overall tax revenue for New York, and I'm sure the legislators are looking at these numbers. The overall tax revenue since New York sports betting began July 2019 is $3.1 million. That's just about 45% of what New Jersey made in their their revenue for the month of July of this year only.
Wow. Okay.
New Jersey, like I said, New Jersey had
they really need mobile sports betting.
That's the tax revenue from there. So it's one of those things where, again, they're still dealing with the way the sports betting system is up, and we'll talk a little bit about the New York sports betting market legislation-wise later on in the book report here. One other little note I saw, a couple people reported this. New Jersey is now the third highest grossing sports betting market in the world by total handle.
I heard something like that. We're, New Jersey's just behind Germany and the UK, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jersey is its own small country, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
2 countries and then Jersey. Yeah.
The 2021 nationwide handle cleared $25 billion so far this year. Mm-hmm. And all-time sports betting handle cleared $64 billion.
Wow.
So incredible numbers coming out of the United States for their sports betting industry. And we're just adding to the market now because we're going to talk about a couple launches. And Colorado had a couple new launches that were kind of interesting. Tipico.
Okay.
They're the only other place they're live right now is New Jersey, but they just launched in Colorado.
So Tipico is now in New Jersey and Colorado, right?
Okay.
Okay.
They have a deal with the Century Casinos in Central City. The other one, and I was actually surprised because I didn't get any warning of this, and I think a lot of people were a little surprised too. The SI Sportsbook, the Sports Illustrated Sportsbook, had its first launch in Colorado.
I am very interested in the Sports Illustrated Sportsbook. I mean, you grew up reading Sports Illustrated, so I'm very curious to see what their sportsbook is like. Now, it's only live in Colorado, right?
And it's only live on the web. It's not an app yet. They haven't announced when the app is going live. Okay. You have to go to the SI Sportsbook website to actually place bets through the SI Sportsbook.
Colorado.
Yeah,
okay.
You can't do it on your mobile devices yet.
All right.
SI Sportsbook is partnered with the Colorado Grand Casino in Cripple Creek. They also have plans to launch in other states, but they are now live computer-wise in Colorado.
Okay.
That puts betting apps in Colorado at 24. So that's a market that's
even though you
fast.
don't have the app on your phone, it's still considered an app, huh?
It's still considered an app
on your computer. Okay.
If you look at Windows nowadays, everything is an app on it. So
yeah.
Washington football team joined the American Gaming Association's Have a Game Plan, Bet Responsibly program.
Great.
First NFL team to do so.
All right.
They're going to be doing a whole bunch of in-stadium activations, sponsored content on WashingtonFootball.com. They're also looking for a new name, by the way. I don't know if you saw those stories.
That. I saw it on Twitter. I can't think of any of the names offhand, but I remember not being enthralled with any of them.
I think one of them was like Red Hogs or something like that. You know, I guess that harkens back to the offensive line.
I guess. But, like I said, I remember seeing their tweet, and I also remember saying, these are the best picks they have?
Well, there's not much out there unless they want to buy it from somebody.
I guess they have to navigate the trademark minefield out there. So
they try that. They may end up actually, if they decide on something other than Washington football team, because I looked at some of those names, and the only thing that stuck out that was good of all those names was Washington football team.
Okay, yeah.
So, we'll see what happens there. New Jersey may be getting a new online sports book, another one.
Okay.
Betway. They were doing testing last week.
Great.
Zen Sports, kind of interesting. 2 weeks ago, they got approval from the Nevada Gaming Control Board to operate in Nevada. This week, they got from the Nevada Gaming Commission approval for their sports betting license.
Great.
Now, Zen Sports is the peer-to-peer betting operation.
All right.
But the license only covers traditional sports betting.
All right.
Can't believe we're actually saying it now this way. Traditional sports betting. It's a 2-year license, and at the end of the 2 years, they can go back in front of the commission to talk about peer-to-peer and also their crypto betting.
Okay.
So right now, it's a traditional sports betting license.
Yeah, I saw the vote for the Nevada Gaming Commission is 2-1. I always see votes like that. Like with those commercials, 4 out of 5 dentists recommend sugarless gum. Well, what was the problem with the 5th dentist? So what was the problem with the Gaming Commission's one no vote? I'm very curious about that. I know you don't have that information right at hand, but I'm just thinking out loud.
I has something also to do probably with the operations of an actual casino there. I don't know. Whatever the reasons were for the nay vote.
So 4 out of 5 dentists.
Or 2 out of 1 commissioners.
2 out of 1 commissioners recommend sugarless gum.
Speaking of Nevada gaming regulators, let's go over to some legislation. They've been talking about doing esports betting, or at least enhancing the
Who's
way.
This now?
This is Nevada.
Nevada? Okay.
We're talking about the Nevada gaming regulators.
Okay.
They've been looking at ways to enhance the esports betting industry in the state. The Nevada gaming regulators just recommended an approval of a plan that would create a committee to better facilitate esports betting on events in the state.
Good.
They're going to be creating a esports advisory board. They're going to be looking at how to go about doing an overall esports betting landscape in the state. So they're moving ahead with esports betting pretty good in Nevada.
Good. Well, they have a big facility there for esports, the Luxor. What do they call it? The HyperX?
HyperX Arena.
Yeah.
Well, that's Allied Esports.
Sure.
So, as a matter of fact, we talked about them in the rundown on Turnpike Sports. Mm-hmm. They had the 13 million views in the 24-hour segment.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So that was all from the Esports Arena in Las Vegas there. A couple of interesting other states that are moving forward with sports betting. We have North Carolina and Wyoming.
The North Carolina thing came out of the blue.
Well,
Wyoming, I heard about Wyoming.
The bill was filed in North Carolina back in April, and it sat there.
Yeah, that's
and the last couple of weeks, it's just been gaining steam, and it's SB 688. That would allow for, let me get the numbers right, 10 to 12 mobile licenses to be issued, as well as online licenses for the Native American tribes in the state.
Great.
Also, you can have sports betting at sports facilities, which means Carolina Panthers, Charlotte Hornets, Carolina Hurricanes, and 6 motorsports tracks in the state would all have betting options available.
Great.
Right now, it passed through the Senate Commerce and Insurance Committee 26 to 21, and then it was passed by the full Senate 26 to 19 the next day.
Okay.
So now it's going to the House. I don't know how the House is going to vote. The fact that it was kind of a close vote in the Senate, 26-19, tells me there are some divides there.
Yeah.
But we'll see exactly what happens when it goes through the House. The other state, Wyoming. Wyoming opened up the betting license application window. And they have reported, the Wyoming Gaming Commission have reported that BetMGM and DraftKings have already applied.
Wow, that was quick.
So BetMGM is moving fast in certain states, and they're moving a little slower in other states. The one thing about Wyoming, they're going to join the ranks of the mobile-only states. They are going to be the first state that's going to allow bettors to fund their betting accounts with alternate currencies.
Oh, okay.
They're talking about virtual, digital, crypto. Honestly, I don't know what the difference between virtual, digital, and crypto is because they're all digital.
Well, there must be subtle differences because they laid it out like that.
So they are going to be the first state to offer alternate funding methods.
Great.
Louisiana.
Wow, Wyoming, the cutting edge of sports betting. Wow.
Who knew? Who knew with that? Louisiana is moving slowly but surely into the sports betting launch of their industry. They had talked about early next year, but the temporary chair or the interim chair right now has said that the possibility exists for Louisiana to launch during this NFL season before the end of the year.
Good.
So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Also, one other thing, everyone knows what's going on in Florida. They just had the compact approved with a non-approval letter from the Department of the Interior. Another new lawsuit was filed against the compact. This only affects the mobile side of everything. You're still going to get the expansion of the gaming and also the launch of the retail books.
Nothing is going to stop retail sports betting.
The retail books for the tribes,
That's
the
good
Seminole
to go.
Gaming tribe, the Seminole tribe will open.
That's good to go. All right.
But the online side is the one everyone's contesting, and it was actually an interesting argument. this complaint made. The two pari-mutuel facilities down there, Magic City Casino and Bonita Springs Poker Room.
Okay.
They filed another lawsuit. They had one before it was passed, but now they have a new one. And I like this argument. The Department of Interior was not supposed to rule on it, didn't have the standing to rule on it. The argument in the complaint states that their argument was that the compact itself fell outside of the IGRA, the Indian Gaming Reservation Act.
I don't know how good an argument that is, but...
Well, since it fell outside that bill, the DOI could not rule on it.
Okay.
Or shouldn't have ruled on it because it's not within their purview. It didn't pass muster to get to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're making that argument that if it didn't really fall to the DOI to make the decision, they overstepped their bounds, they didn't have standing. So,
yes, but what I'm understanding is the DOI, the
Department of Interior,
Department of Interior made really no ruling.
Yeah,
they made no ruling. They didn't rule one way or the other. They kind of just said whatever, and it's moving on. So they really kind of didn't make a ruling.
Well, that's why it's interesting, because that's got to be the counter argument.
Yeah,
we didn't make a ruling.
Well, we said do what you want.
So we'll see. Oh, and one little news and note for legislation: Illinois.
Okay.
Illinois has issued applications for sportsbooks to operate in the state completely online.
Oh, okay.
So no in-person registration.
Good.
They have a short window, but they have those applications going.
Good.
I think they're going to do a limited number of licenses for that as well.
Okay.
Let's go over to some deals, because we had another week of a lot of deals, and we're going to start off with DraftKings becoming the official sports betting partner and fantasy sports partner of the Baltimore Ravens.
Great.
Typical deal.
Yep.
Stadium activations, branding.
Data.
They're going to be creating content with the Ravens for the Ravens weekly podcast called The Lounge. And also DraftKings will be named the presenting sponsor of the Ravens Wired video online series. I'm assuming that's like a Hard Knocks.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So we'll see exactly how that goes. That's, typical deal. We're starting to see a lot more of these. Fanduel, not to be outdone, they went not with a league, they went with an actual player. They partnered with golf pro Jordan Spieth.
All right.
He is the face of their sports betting and fantasy sports products.
Great.
Fanduel also had a nice busy week here. Not only did they do the deal with Spieth, they did a deal with the Women's Tennis Association, the WTA.
Okay.
They were designated as the authorized gaming operator in North, South, and Central America for the WTA.
Wow, okay.
It's the first deal for a women's sport that will have video highlights on a sports book.
Oh, okay.
That's
video
that's
highlights.
Unique.
They're
that's
not streaming
live.
live.
No, they're not
right?
streaming it,
they're
but they're doing just the highlights of the matches. BetMGM, actually, let me finish up with FanDuel. They did an extension with Sport Radar through 2028 to make Sport Radar their official data provider.
Okay.
So that further strengthens Sport Radar in the industry as the data provider to go to for a lot of these instances. I mean, you got Sport Radar and Genius right now. Genius is the big one with all the major leagues. Sport Radar, it's interesting. They just issued their IPO filing.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what the price of the initial price of the stock will be.
Well, the initial valuation of the company was only $100 million. I would have thought it'd be a lot more.
Yeah.
But that's the initial filing. That's going to change as you get closer and closer, because right now the SEC is reviewing the paperwork. Then NASDAQ's got to look at it. So we'll see exactly what the actual valuation. That valuation is going to go up.
I'd be very curious to see, what the initial stock price is.
Moving over to Fanatics. As everyone knows, Fanatics was included in the second Canby filing for New York Mobile Sports Betting.
Yep, for mobile sports betting.
In their application. And we talked about this last week in terms of these applications having little nuggets of information there. Their application stated that Jay-Z, the rapper and founder of Rock Nation LLC, is now joining the company as director of Fanatics Betting and Gaming as the vice chairman of that division.
Great.
He's going to be joining Matt King, who's going to be running the the Fanatics. Boy, Fanduel. But he was former Fanduel. Fanatics Sportsbook is going to be run by Matt King. Let me put it that way, so I'm not misspeaking there. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how appealing the Fanatics Sportsbook is. They've already got over 80 million users for Fanatics in terms of customers for their website already.
Sure, I have a lot of Fanatics close.
I'm assuming
So
the goal there is to
great.
turn those 80 million, or at least a portion of those 80 million, into sports bettors.
Yeah, they have a great database. So
Moving over to, we're going to go down to Louisiana again.
oh, okay.
Caesars everywhere already with the Caesars Sportsbook ads.
Boy, I'm here in New Jersey. Nonstop TV commercials, nonstop radio commercials. Boy, they are everywhere.
Well, they are in Louisiana turning the Isle of Capri Lake Charles Casino, which is I believe a riverboat casino. They're going to bring it ashore and make it the new Horseshoe Casino Lake Charles.
Wow, okay.
They're going to have a WSOP branded poker room. You don't hear that too often anymore, that they're putting the poker rooms in the press releases now.
Yeah, it's good.
And a retail Caesar Sportsbook in the property.
Okay.
So another retail Caesar Sportsbook coming. And BetMGM announced an exclusive partnership with Live Hospitality's Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort and Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort. That's in Deadwood. Mm-hmm. Now, Deadwood's going to be launching their sports betting industry in terms of mobile soon, but they've got some kind of unique legal wrangling in there because it's only on Deadwood properties in Deadwood. That's it. Not in the entire state.
Let me tell you something. This geolocation has become so good. I mean, they can. I remember when online casinos started in New Jersey. I mean, it was at 2013.
Yeah.
The geolocation was terrible. I mean, I can play on the casinos in one room of my house, but not in the other room of my house. But nowadays, the geolocation technology has become so good that they can pinpoint where you are exactly, and it's just absolutely amazing.
And two last notes for this week's book report. Genius Sports announced the hiring of former ESPN and NFL exec Steve Bornstein to be its North American president.
Great.
And Boom Entertainment announced a partnership with Golden Nugget Online, where Golden Nugget took a percentage of the company and ownership-wise to get their suite of online casino and sports betting products.
Great.
That's it for this week's book report. Any news and notes that you would like us to report on, info@turnpikesportsradio.com.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.